Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about Harrison Okene, the shocking tale of a man who stayed underwater for 3 days. Can a person survive deep in the sea for 3 days with no water and food? Let's find out through Harrison Okene's shocking survival. One night on May 26, the crew in the tugboat was asleep. All the doors to the cabins were locked as a safety measure against privacy. Little did they know that their life was going to take a drastic turn. That night was the doomsday of the crew, but fortunately for Harrison Okene, the odds were on his favor. As their boat was towing an oil tanker, the ocean wave suddenly capsized the boat Jason 4 at approximately 4:30 a.m., dragging the boat along with the whole crew. During this time, Harrison Okene went to the bathroom to help himself. As it turned out, through a twisted fate, taking this step saved his life. On the other hand, the rest of his crew were locked in their cabins. According to the security protocol, everyone has to close their cabin while asleep. Unfortunately, this rule made it difficult for the locked crew to escape as the boat was sinking. While in the bathroom, Harrison made an effort to escape by forcing the steel bathroom door against the raging seawater. Unfortunately, the water pressure was too intense for him to escape. While terrified, he watched some of his colleagues being dragged out of the boat by the overwhelming seawater. Thereafter, he was dragged out of the bathroom by the water through a narrow way and ended up in another bathroom. This bathroom was connected to his officer's cabin. He suffered injuries and bruises, but strongly held onto the bathroom basin to keep himself above the water. The bathroom was 4 square feet in size. The boat continued to sink deep in the sea up to an approximate depth of 100 meters and settle upside down. Immediately, there was a rescue operation for nearby boats as well as a helicopter. The damaged boat was fortunately marked and located. However, the divers were not ready for deep diving, so Harrison's efforts for calling for help was all in vain. The rescue operation was called off since there was no signs of survivors. At the engineer's office, the air pocket was 1.2 meters according to his estimate. According to science, we normally inhale about 10 cubic meters of air within 24 hours. However, since the boat was deep in the sea under immense pressure, Okene's air pocket was compressed by 4 factors according to LLNL findings. This means if the pocket of air was approximately 6 cubic meters, then it would contain sufficient oxygen to maintain life for Harrison for 60 hours. However, there was danger lingering around: the carbon dioxide. This gas is lethal to anyone when it hits a 5% concentration. He was gradually building up the carbon dioxide concentration in the pocket of air, but thankfully, carbon dioxide dissolves in water. Therefore, when Harrison splashed the water, the surface area which was in direct contact with the air increased, dissolving more carbon dioxide while subsequently reducing its concentration in the air pocket that Okene was below lethal levels. After staying in the bathroom for almost a day, Harrison gathered courage and swam through the intense darkness to the engineer's office by touch. Lucky for him, there was an air pocket that was approximately 1.2 meters. After finding enough air to breathe, Harrison was faced with another problem. Due to the boat sinking deeper in the ocean, the water was too cold. He was at risk of suffering hypothermia and possibly death by it. He made his way through the cabin by touch and found some tools which was used to scrap the panels from the wall. Using a mattress and these materials, he built a floating platform which was used to raise half of his body from the freezing water. This helped him reduce the rate of losing heat from his body due to him wearing only the sleeping short. When a person's body is at risk of hypothermia, this means their core body temperature has dropped below 35 degrees Celsius. If you suffer from hypothermia, you will experience movement disorder, confusion, terminal burrowing, or amnesia. When this condition becomes extreme, death may arise. Feeling cold, bruised, stuck, hungry, he held on to the calming thoughts of his family. However, when the fear kicked in, as a religious person, he prayed for rescue from Jesus Christ. After some time, the extreme salty seawater began eating away skin from his tongue. According to him, every sound in the ship wreckage was magnified. At some point, he could smell a rotten smell, which he thought were his colleagues' decomposing bodies. He could hear the fish as they fed on his crew's corpses in the water. Fortunately, the Tokan dive vehicle arrived at the area. It was a rescue team hired from Jace Khan 4-parent company from West African Ventures to come and retrieve the bodies of the crews from the ship wreckage. The rescue team had 6 divers, a tactical crew, and a deck crew. The diving crew spent nearly an hour unlocking the watertight door to access the boat interior. Once inside, the view was quite disorientating, with everything upside down with poor visibility. While exploring the boat, the divers recovered 4 bodies. One of the divers, named Nico, went upstairs towards the main deck when something from the mucky water touched him. Harrison was nearly losing hope after staying in the boat wreckage for over 2 days. He heard something dropping on the seafloor when hammering noises on the boat. At this point, he was certain there were divers nearby. He tried to bang on the wall, but it was not loud enough. Afterwards, he saw light on the hallway from one of the divers. Unfortunately, he was swimming too fast for Harrison to reach out. But then the amazing moment kicked in when Nico noticed another body, which he believed as one of the corpses. When he reached out to touch the hand, surprisingly the hand squeezed his. The diver is caught by a shocking moment, after which his supervisor shouts, "He is alive! He is alive!" Nico was then told to comfort Harrison with a back patting and thumbs up as the other divers joined in the celebration. Finding Mr. Harrison was a magical moment. However, there was still a challenge right in front of them, the decompression. They had to come up with a way to remove him from the deep sea safely, considering that he had spent more hours than usual underwater. In this case, they sorted to the decompression chamber to return his body pressure to a normal level. A medical director at DDRC, Christine Cridge, was the advisor of the whole process. According to the director, when one spends a given amount of time, underwater pressure nitrogen gas starts to dissolve in the body tissues. This means if Harrison was ascending directly to the sea surface from deep in the sea, then there was a high likelihood of him suffering a cardiac arrest or even a serious neurological disorder. When you are trapped underwater and lucky to have an air pocket above your head, the first thing to do is to stay calm. And this is whether a boat capsizes or a car crashes into the sea. When you're in panic mode, you start breathing heavily. This can reduce the amount of oxygen that keeps you alive long enough to be rescued. You'll be exhaling more carbon dioxide into the pocket of air at a higher rate than carbon dioxide dissolving in water. If the 5% threshold is achieved, the air will become toxic and lethal to the victim. Therefore, staying calm reduces the rate of consumption of oxygen, and subsequently it lowers the rate of exhaling carbon dioxide. In this case, carbon dioxide will have sufficient time to dissolve in water, and limits it from reaching the 5% lethal level. When you sink with a vessel underwater, you need to stay calm first, as mentioned earlier. During this time, there will be water pouring into the cabin you are in. Don't panic, wait until no more water is coming in. At this point, the pressure inside and outside the car is equal. From this point, you can attempt to find escape points, whether it's a door or window that easily can be opened. With that said, it's correct to say that you should avoid a panic escape, as you can't fight against the water pressure. It can result in body bruises and injuries, and worst of all, being dragged along with the sinking vessel. Water found at the bottom of the lake, sea, or river is often coldest as compared to that of the surface. Therefore, if you are trapped underwater in the air pocket, try your best to maintain over half of your body above the water level. This will protect you from suffering an early hypothermia. While in cold water, chances are your body will be losing more heat than what it can generate. In this case, your body core temperature will be reduced gradually. When the core temperatures hit 35 degrees Celsius or below, you will suffer from hypothermia. In this case, you will experience amnesia, confusion, and movement disorder, among other side effects. To prevent this, as mentioned earlier, you must find a way to lift most of your body above water level. If you're within a range you can swim to the surface, then finding a portal exit will be a great idea. In case there are glass panels in the vessel, you need to find the right equipment to break in order to swim out and save yourself. In such a case, you should look for hard and pointy equipment. You need to apply extra effort when striking the window using the pointy end. This may seem abnormal, but you never know when it's going to become handy. You can visit a car junkyard with your escape car tools and try it out if it can work. But it's a boat and ship situation. You need to know every bit of the vessel and what it contains inside. Furthermore, you need to keep in mind that all possible escape routes of the vessel as an insurance in case it accidentally sinks. How long can you hold your breath underwater? This is essential, especially to people who work on ships and boats. When you find yourself trapped underwater, deep breath will come in handy as you will try to find your way around the vessel. Also, it is useful when you dive in the water in time as you attempt to escape a sinking vessel. With that said, you need to practice more often how to take a deep breath for at least 2 minutes while in water. For Harrison Okene's story, I'm sure you can tell that he had no light. Yet under the extreme darkness, he managed to navigate around the ship. This was possible by touch. When caught up under a similar circumstance, don't panic because it's dark. Relax and use your sense of touch to find an escape portal or a safer place to stay as you wait to be rescued. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe because more incredible content is on the way.